by saying this video is not meant for recommendation or advice. This video is meant for educational purposes only. So, I want to talk about the consumption of protein and how it helps you build muscle. And the types of protein that a person can take in, and the amino acid content of protein. There are total 22, I believe. Could be, there are over, let's say just say in general, there are over 20 different amino acids, and all of them are important, though there are 8 essential amino acids. But how you combine your food sources will help your body absorb the amino acids better, because you'll get a more complete source of amino acids. Because amino acids, like I said, even though you have 8 essential amino acids, you have over 20 different ones, and they're all important. So I like to combine my protein sources, like say egg, cheese, meat, cheese. You could combine vegetarian protein with animal protein, beans, eggs. Combine potatoes, meat, rice, meat. This will help you get more of the, not only the amino acids, but the nutrients that help your body assimilate amino acids. Potassium is one of those nutrients, because potassium helps you maintain the alkaline balance in your belly. You see, protein is very acidic, and if you eat a concentration of acidic foods constantly, you're really not going to be that healthy, and it can affect your stomach in a bad way. And therefore, if you have an acidic stomach, it'll be hard to assimilate protein. Therefore, eating foods that have potassium will help restore the alkaline balance. Potatoes is one such food that is very beneficial and contains a lot of potassium. Chickpeas is another one. Of course, you have your bananas have a lot of potassium as well. Grapefruits have a lot of potassium, grapefruit juice. So having potassium is important, but also the vegetables. Green vegetables contain a lot of potassium, spinach, and fiber. Hey, how you doing? See, the fiber is very important when eating a lot of protein, but also it has certain things that help your immune system, your intestines. The vegetables, that is, they have glycoproteins that help the intestines detoxify things. And just eating a lot of protein without the vegetables, you're not going to be able to assimilate as much. And the amounts you're gonna, papaya, pineapple. You got dates. Dates are great because of the fiber content. Also, that's another wonderful fruit that contains high potassium. Your intestines benefit greatly from zinc, because zinc builds the lining of the intestine. Grapes come from, grapes and raisins. Raisins come from grapes. Also a good source of zinc. So that also helps the intestines. It's very beneficial. Let's see here. See, we have the mangoes. Mangoes are very rich in vitamin A. And vitamin A is very important antioxidant. Protects your body from free radicals. You see, like the fruits that are very bright in color, have very high antioxidants. You got mango, you have um, you have kiwis. These are wonderful fruits. Papaya. You have and let's look at watermelon. Very high in potassium as well. And that's very important. Dates, dates high in potassium. Selenium. You need selenium. Very important. Helps the immune system as well. Yeah, and the dates are very dates, figs. Figs are loaded with many different minerals. Figs have a high content of minerals. You know, actually, dried fruit do too, but you have to be careful that they don't add sugar to dried fruits because many dried fruits products out there they add sugar to it. So what's the point? You know, and I found that the dried fruits were very very helpful because they give a quick boost to the restoring a lot of mineral balance in your body. I mean, it's very convenient because the dried fruits are not like regular fruits where you have to peel the skin or cut it into pieces. They're very convenient. You could carry dried fruits anywhere you go. You know, that used to be a favorite thing of mine. But let's talk about coconuts. Coconuts are great because they restore also the very alkaline and the potassium and very high in minerals. They help hydrate you. You know, coconut water, coconut juice helps hydrate you. So that is very important. And it's really not high in sugar. If you get just pure coconut juice or pure coconuts. But again, you know, you can also have dried coconuts, dried shredded coconuts. That's very beneficial as well. But we started out talking on this slide about protein. So there's a big question about vegetarian versus animal protein. I myself don't eat any animals because I love animals. But it wasn't always that way, you know, like I grew up eating a lot of meat, like everyone else. Hamburgers, occasional steak, chicken. But, you know, now I live in the country and you know, I'm not just seeing the animals on a store shelf, I'm seeing them live. I'm looking into their eyes. I'm interacting with these animals. I'm seeing that animals have a life, but they actually have personalities. I mean, you may think I'm nuts, but besides eating nuts like cashews and almonds, but I'm not nuts. I just appreciate life more I always appreciated life, but like I appreciate animals more. I see all these animals up close, so close you could reach out and touch a cow. You know, you get an affection. So I no longer eat meats. So what do I get? The iron, because iron is very important. One of the animal protein foods, eggs, contain iron, rich in iron, but so does raisins, so does spinach, contain iron. But the vegetables don't contain heme iron. Fortunately, an egg yolk does contain a lot of heme iron, so you can complete your iron content by just adding a egg. You could combine eggs with beans. I recently bought quinoa and chickpea spaghetti. I want to combine them and I want to see what it's like. But did you know, I mentioned selenium. Selenium helps the absorption of protein. Uh, Mushrooms are high in selenium, and studies have found that combining protein foods with selenium actually help the body absorb protein better. So I'm gonna go out and buy some mushrooms. You know, try to make a nice mushroom soup. Cook the mushrooms, maybe added some sour cream, some cheddar, some peas, make sort of like a sauce, and put the sauce, with the mushrooms, the peas, the sour cream, and the cheddar, and put it over the quinoa and the chickpea macaroni. That's just a thought. This you have to be creative when you devising a diet. But how many times a day should it's best to eat? That all depends on your digestion. You know, I've been eating one meal a day, like 3, 4 days a week. Sometimes I go for 24 hours without eating a meal. It's not the best thing, actually, because it's better to maintain a steady blood sugar level, and you can't achieve that if you're just not getting regular snack. I mean, you don't have to load up on a meal, but get at least a snack in every 3, 4 hours. You know, um, sources like whey protein, soy, they absorb very quickly. They're oxidized by your liver really quickly, soy and whey. So don't expect that whey shake to stay in your body for several hours. It's more like 1 to 2 hours max. Now casein, this is why I always like eating cheese. The casein protein gets broken down slower. And amino acids are released into your body slower over more hours, as much as 4 or more hours. Casein is a very long-lasting protein. I like getting it from cottage cheese, low-fat cottage cheese, and I like having a probiotic yogurt because probiotics help your body assimilate protein. I buy what is called an almond milk yogurt. I like that a lot. So, like I said, the probiotics are very necessary especially if you're increasing your protein. You need something that's alkaline, like I said, the protein, the potassium-rich vegetables, greens, the alkaline grains, like the chickpeas, the things like the dates, raisins, bananas. These are high in potassium. Because you need the potassium to balance out the acidic protein in your body. But let's talk about B vitamins. You can't have energy. Your body can't metabolize carbohydrates without the B vitamins. Your body cannot form the necessary metabolic functions for your oxygen and for releasing energy without B vitamins. Now, a lot of the B6 vitamins are found in animal foods, but I only eat eggs. B6, if you combine it with other vegetarian sources, you can get your good amounts of B6. I mean, if you combine lentils with eggs, you can get a good dose of B6, and also peanuts, high in B6, high in niacin. Did you know that walnuts not only have protein, but they have all the omega fats, which you need for your joints and you need for a healthy nervous system? Let's see. Oh, Damien, how you doing? Yeah, intestines is something that I can talk about because I have a lot of intestinal issues. I pretty much wore out my intestines in the 90s when I used to consume coffee a lot, um, all this things that I shouldn't have been drinking, fried foods used to pretty much destroy my stomach that way. Nowadays, I'm much more kinder to my stomach. Yeah. So how's everybody doing today? If you want to be active, part, did you know partly I am? Yes, partly I am. Yes. Um, Someone once told me that they wanted to do one of those ceremonies they do for young men, and on me when I was a kid, because I used to live near, I used to live near a place in a community. I was always near, you know, even as a teenager, I used to go to a community near my school. It's Borough Park. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Borough Park. No, yeah, I could talk about that if you want, because when I was 8 years old, I had a friend named Nicky. He was like one of my best friends. Oh, how you doing, Alan? Hey, hey, great to see you, man. You're up this late? Yeah, you're not the only one who's up this late. Yeah, so Nicky, like, one day I went to his house and he had this paper mache doll. Paper mache? You put together with glue and paper and newspaper, and you could make like sculptures and everything. And it was a big witch right at the vestibule. As soon as you open the door, you see this life-size witch, and you get scared. I don't know. That was the thing for them. Like, that was the last time I visited Nikki. Yeah, what can you do? I mean, it's pretty scary. You're a kid, and you go in the house and you see a life-size witch doll. It's made out of paper mache. It could be pretty unnerving. You're a kid. But hey, how do I get motivated, and how do I keep, my energy to build strength? So yesterday I was like really dragging myself because I hadn't eaten anything in 24 hours, exception of like a half a scoop of protein twice. So I was really down. So what I did was I made some cabbage juice and an apple, yellow apple, and, and I had an egg, a whole egg, a couple of whole eggs, and I had green peas and carrots, and had some olive oil, and gradually I started and I had some almond butter. I just love almond butter with some bananas. Gradually, it started to feel better. Talking about nutrition, foods, type of foods that are healthy for you, especially the type of foods that help you get stronger, type of foods that contain protein, whether they're animal foods, or vegetarian foods, because some people are vegetarian. I'm what they call lacto-ovo vegetarian. I don't eat animal protein. I mean, I don't eat meats, but I do eat eggs, cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt. But I don't eat chicken or beef or fish. So that's what we're talking about here. Yeah. A lot of people, the more meats You eat not necessarily, it's not necessarily good for you. When I competed in bodybuilding, I never eat, well, seldom ate beef. I, twice a week I used to have bison. Who was that? I used to like ice cream. I used to love ice cream, but I can't have a lot of sugar anymore. But I got, I bought keto ice cream. It doesn't contain sugar. Yeah, it's ice cream. Yes, I love keto ice cream because I can't have sugar. I have green tea though. Native, native. 64-year-old native. Oh yeah. See, when I grew up next to a park. It was several acres big, and we had a flagpole in that park. It's one of the biggest flagpoles in the United States with the American flag. Huge flagpoles, one of the biggest ones. And it was, how many feet elevation? Close to 1,000 feet elevation. So in times of emergency, you could see that American flag from all over the city. Patriotic, yeah, you're looking at him, 64 years old. And I like my keto ice cream. I want to drink more green tea. So anyway, it's very important. Oh, what happened here? It's very important that you get protein in because your body's made out of protein. Did you know that? Your brain. It's not just your muscles, but things like, the amino acids like glutamine, very, very important. Carnitine, let's talk about carnitine. To get a good amount of carnitine, you would have to eat 5 pounds of beef. I don't know about you, but I don't eat 5 pounds of beef. So carnitine you can also get from carrots. For me, sometimes well, no, carnitine I can get from, I don't get enough carnitine. Because unfortunately, beef is the main thing that has a lot of main animal food that contains carnitine. And yeah, so sometimes I supplement with carnitine because, like I said, I don't eat beef, so I'm missing out on my carnitine. So sometimes I supplement with carnitine. You need carnitine for your brain function. You also need it for your muscles and for your carnitine helps in hormone production. So yeah, carnitine is important. Glutamine. There's a limited supply of glutamine, and glutamine is mostly used and stored in your gut. So the glutamine gets used up very quickly. It helps maintain the alkaline balance in your gut. If you exercise, the glutamine gets used up. So one of the richest sources of glutamine happens to be grains, wheat, a couple of slices of bread. Just like when you grew up, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, believe it or not, contains a lot of glutamine and high antioxidants. Something as simple as peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I can't have meat anymore. I can't have wheat anymore. But the wheat is one of the richest sources of glutamine. Yeast. Yeast is very, very high in B vitamins. Yes. Any questions? Hey, hi there. We're talking about nutrition. You know that for me, I used to just add in like a scoop of yeast, which is very high in B vitamins, and I used to add it into some. I used to make a shake: yeast, hemp protein, throw in a banana, hemp milk. I'm sorry, hemp milk, throw in a banana, and it's some raisins. And for me, I like almond butter. Gives me a lot of energy. It didn't provide all the amino acids, but it provided many, and it provided the B vitamins. So the so that was a good way to get a lot of nutrients, and it wasn't high in sugar at all. You, another thing that you should know that coconut oil contains something called MCTs, medium chain triglycerides. It is a type of fat that starts breaking down in your mouth, just like carbohydrates. Do you know that carbohydrates start getting metabolized in your mouth? So does medium chain MCT type of fats. Yeah. So the MCT fats get broken down really quickly in your mouth, and they can have energy without having you find it. Your energy dip. So coconut oil is very, very good. And the MCTs is also good for the brain. There's a lot of healthy things out there that snacks that you can walk around, put it in your pocket, and just have. Um, I haven't been buying them lately. I have to start up again. Avocados are very great too. So these are things that are very convenient and a good way to get your nutrition. Yeah, I gotta stop doing that again. Start getting some, because it's hard over here to find a shredded coconut. But there's a store in the town I could maybe find a shredded coconut. But it's maybe I don't know about the dates. It's hard to find dates. I can't get a date. I mean the dates, the fruit called dates. Imagine I walk in the store and I say I'm looking for a date. Imagine what would happen. I go in the grocery store and it's a woman behind the counter. I say I'm looking for a date. Can I get a date in here? She's like, what? No, the date, the fruit, the date. That's what I meant. Drinking my green tea. Anyways, how's everybody? Anybody getting ready for September? I can't believe the summer's passing by so fast. Come on. Give me a break, man. There's so many things I wanted to do in the summer. It's already September. Where did the days go? I'm not getting any younger. So I'm not rushing the calendar. But anyway, I gotta start eating more dry fruits. Because I just realized that dried fruits, something I used to eat a lot and used to help me. Not just that, but potatoes. Potatoes and avocados. Yeah, I gotta start having that again. Very, very important. So I'm gonna end this live. with- That's a bicep flex. I wish everybody a great night.